Al Capone, king in the cage. Born in Brooklyn to Italian immigrants, he rose to power as the boss of the Chicago outfit, a criminal empire that generated an estimated $100 million annually, roughly $1.5 billion today, through bootlegging, gambling, and racketeering. Alphonse Gabriel Capone. January 17, 1899 to January 25, 1947, sometimes known by the nickname Scarface, was an American gangster and businessman who attained notoriety during the Prohibition era as the co-founder and boss of the Chicago outfit from 1925 to 1931. His 7-year reign as a crime boss ended when he was imprisoned at the age of 33. Al Capone. Capone in 1930. Born Alphonse Gabriel Capone. January 17, 1899. Brooklyn, New York City, U.S. Died January 25, 1947. Age 48. Miami Beach, Florida, U.S. Resting place: Mount Carmel Cemetery, Hillside, Illinois, U.S. Other names: Scarface, Big Al, Big Boy, Public Enemy #1, Snorky. Occupations: gangster, bootlegger, racketeer. Known for boss of the Chicago outfit and St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Successor: Frank Nitti. Spouse: May Coughlin, so 1918. Children: 1. Relatives: Richard James Hart, brother; Ralph Capone, brother; Frank Capone, brother; Charles Fischetti, cousin; Rocco Fischetti, cousin. Allegiance: Chicago outfit. Conviction: tax evasion, 26 U.S.C. 145, 5 counts. Criminal penalty: 11 years imprisonment, 1931. Capone was born in New York City in 1899 to Italian immigrants. He joined the Five Points gang as a teenager and became a bouncer in organized crime premises such as brothels. In his early 20s, Capone moved to Chicago and became a bodyguard of Johnny Torrio, head of a criminal syndicate that illegally supplied alcohol, the forerunner of the outfit, and was politically protected through the Unione Siciliana. A conflict with the North Side gang was instrumental in Capone's rise and fall. Torrio went into retirement after North Side gunmen almost killed him, handing control to Capone. Although Capone expanded the bootlegging business through increasingly violent means, his mutually profitable relationships with Mayor William Hale Thompson and the Chicago Police Department meant he seemed safe from law enforcement. Capone apparently reveled in attention, such as the cheers from spectators when he appeared at baseball games. He made donations to various charities and was viewed by many as a modern-day Robin Hood. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre, in which 7 people from rival gangs were murdered in broad daylight, damaged the public image of Chicago and Capone, leading influential citizens to demand government action and newspapers to dub Capone Public Enemy #1. Unable to convict him for his many violent crimes, federal authorities, including Treasury agents and Eliot Ness's Untouchables, focused on his finances. In 1931, Capone was convicted of income tax evasion. Federal authorities became intent on jailing Capone and charged him with 22 counts of tax evasion. He was convicted of 5 counts in 1931. During a highly publicized case, the judge admitted as evidence Capone's admissions of his income and unpaid taxes made during prior and ultimately abortive negotiations to pay the government taxes he owed. He was convicted and sentenced to 11 years in federal prison. After conviction, he replaced his defense team with experts in tax law, and his grounds for appeal were strengthened by a U.S. Supreme Court ruling, although his appeal ultimately failed. Capone showed signs of neurosyphilis early in his sentence and became increasingly debilitated before being released after almost 8 years of incarceration. In 1947, he died of cardiac arrest after a stroke. Imprisonment: Cell 181 in Alcatraz. Federal Penitentiary where Capone was imprisoned. Mugshot of Capone at Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, 1934. Capone was sent to Atlanta U.S. Penitentiary in May 1932, age 33. Upon his arrival, Capone was diagnosed with syphilis and gonorrhea. Morris Rudensky was formerly a small-time criminal associated with the Capone gang and found himself becoming a protector for Capone. The conspicuous protection by Rudensky and other prisoners drew accusations from less friendly inmates and fueled suspicion that Capone was receiving special treatment. No solid evidence ever emerged, but it formed part of the rationale for moving Capone to the recently opened Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary off the coast of San Francisco in August 1934. On June 23, 1936, Capone was stabbed and superficially wounded by fellow Alcatraz inmate James C. Lucas. Capone's inmate file from Alcatraz prison. Due to his good behavior, Capone was permitted to play banjo in the Alcatraz prison band, the Rock Islanders, which gave regular Sunday concerts for other inmates. Capone also transcribed the song Madonna Mia, creating his own arrangement as a tribute to his wife May. At Alcatraz, Capone's decline became increasingly evident as neurosyphilis progressively eroded his mental faculties. His formal diagnosis of syphilis of the brain was made in February 1938. He spent the last year of his Alcatraz sentence in the hospital section, confused and disoriented. Capone completed his term in Alcatraz on January 6, 1939, and was transferred to the Federal Correctional Institution at Terminal Island in California to serve out his sentence for contempt of court. He was paroled on November 16, 1939, after his wife May appealed to the court, based on his reduced mental capabilities. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for what is coming up next. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share with a friend. Make sure to turn on your notifications, and next time on Criminal Investigation Files, we dive into Alcatraz Island, the inescapable prison. See you soon, fellow investigators.